My dad changed too. He stopped chatting to me as he used to do. When I tried to tell him how I felt, he would just say, "Obey your stepmother. She understands what is best." Those words hurt me more than anything, because he was once my protector. Now he only watched. Or maybe he didn't want to see. One evening, when I got home from school, I discovered Dajon in the living room. She smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. It didn't feel right. "Heather, come here," she said. I walked slowly and sat down. She studied me from head to toe. "You are no longer a child," she said. I said nothing. "You have to think about your future." "I want to finish school," I said in a low voice. She laughed. "School? That does not matter to you." My heart sank. "How do you mean?" I asked. She leaned forward. "I have found you a good man." I stopped. "A chap?" I said. "Yes," she said triumphantly. "He's got money. He owns a house. He'll take care of you." "I don't want that," I said quickly. "I want to study. I want to make my own life." Her smile flickered. "You're not in a position to choose," she added chillily. Then my dad came into the room. "Baba?" I replied, my voice trembling. "Tell her I don't want this, please." He looked at me, then to her. Then he let out a sigh. He said, "It's a good opportunity." It seemed as if my chest was breaking. "Good for whom?" I asked. "For you," he said, although his voice was faint. I shook my head. "No, this is not my dream." Da Jones suddenly rose. "A dream?" she said out loud. "Dreams won't feed you. Dreams don't just give you a house." I had tears in my eyes. I told him, "I don't care. I don't want to marry someone I don't know." She drew closer to me. "You'll do as I say," she whispered. I looked back at my father. He was silent. That stillness was worse than her talking. After that day, everything got worse and worse. She wouldn't allow me to go out with my pals. She looked at my phone. She added to my housework. "If you want to live in this house," she added, "you will obey my rules." I felt like a captive. One night, I heard her on the phone. "Yes," she replied. "She is young, and still, she will make a good wife." My hands began to shake. They were talking about me as if I was an item, not human, not a daughter, something to give away. The next morning, she gave me a dress. "Put this on," she said. "Why?" I said. "You shall see him today." My heart was racing rapidly. "No," I muttered, and stepped back. Her face darkened. "Don't make it hard." I said no. I said again, but my voice was feeble. She gripped my arm hard. "You think you got power?" she said. "You have nothing." I jerked my arm back. "I've got myself," I said. She chuckled. "We shall see." I hid myself in my room that day and grieved for hours. I didn't know what to do. I was broke. I had no one to aid me. And not even my own father stood with me. Chapter 3. That night, my father came and knocked on the door. "Heather," he said softly. I slowly opened it. "Why are you doing this to me?" I inquired. He seemed exhausted. "I ain't doing nothing," he said. "I want you to have a better life." "This isn't an improvement," I said. "It is not my decision." He looked down. "Sometimes we have no choice," he said. Those statements destroyed something inside me, because I knew that if I didn't speak up, They would take my life away from me and no one would stop them. That was when I knew I was utterly alone. The house was never a home again after that night. It felt like a place where you wait for something bad to happen, where you wait for the other shoe to drop. Dajon grew stricter with every passing day. She saw everything I did. If I sat too long, she would shout, "Why are you lazy?" If I tried to study, she would say, "Cut the time wastin'. Books do you no good now." One morning, I woke up early to study my school notes. I wanted to cling onto something that felt like it was mine, but she came in and snatched the book out of my hand. "You still don't see, do you?" she said. I said gently, "I just want to finish school." She threw the book to the floor. "There is no school where you are going to go." My stomach turned at her words. "Where am I going?" I asked, though I already knew. "To your husband's house." She smiled coldly. I took up my book, but I could not read another word. Words swam before my eyes. Later that same day, she urged me to clean the whole house again. "I cleaned it this morning already," I said. "Because I said so," she said. I closed my mouth and began to clean. But I felt a strange sensation blossoming in me. Not simply grief, something harder, something crazy. Some days later, she mentioned we were to visit someone. She told me to get dressed up. "I don't want to go," I said. "You are going," she stated with finality. My father was standing at the door. I stared at him. I waited for him to say something, but he merely looked away. We got in a car. I sat in the back seat. My hands were chilly and shivering. After a short drive, we stopped in front of a big house, larger than ours. The gate was high. The walls were clean. Everything was perfect, but I was afraid. We went inside. There was a man seated in the living room. He was older looking than my father. He had thin hair. His face was heavily wrinkled. When he smiled, it didn't feel like kindness. "This is her," said Dajon proudly. The man got to his feet and glanced at me cautiously, as if he was inspecting something. "She looks submissive," he said. "I was ill." "I am not," I whispered. Dajon tightened her grip on my arm. "Don't be rude," she whispered. That made the man laugh. "It's fine," he said. "She'll learn." My chest tightened at those words. "What do you learn?" "To follow, to be silent, to see it all." We sat down, and they started talking about me as if I wasn't even there. "She can cook," added Dajon. "She gets up early. She doesn't get out much." I wanted to yell. "I'm here," I said. They both stared at me. "I am not a thing," I went on. "You can't just choose my life." The room fell silent. The man's face transformed. "Young girls talk too much nowadays," he said. "I'm not a child," I said. Dajon leaped up. "That's enough," she said, and smiled. But it was not a genuine smile. "She's just nervous." I got up also. I said explicitly, "I don't want this. I don't want to wed him." The man looked at Dajon. "You said she'd agreed." "She'll do it," Dajon said. "No," I said louder. "I will not." My heart pounded so rapidly that I thought I couldn't breathe. I looked at my father. "Let's go home." He got up slowly, but he didn't look at me. Instead, he glanced at Dajon. She gave a small nod. Then he said, "Take a seat, Heather." I froze up. "What?" I whispered. "Sit down," he said again. I felt tears come to my eyes. "You want this too?" I asked. He did not reply. The silence again. It was like a dagger. Chapter 4. I sank back onto the chair, but my body felt weak. The rest of the visit was a nightmare. I looked at the floor while they spoke of dates, money, and arrangements. When we eventually departed, I felt hollow. That night, I packed a small bag, a few clothes, my school book, and a photograph of my mother. I sat on my bed and watched the door. Should I flee? Where should I go? I was flat broke. I had no pals I could trust this with, no family. I felt like a caged bird. DeJoan walked into my room the next morning without knocking. She said, "Get ready." "For what?" I asked. "Because you took part." My heart gave a jump. "Already?" "Yes. Wedding next month." "No," I said softly. She glanced sharply at me. "You still say no?" "Yes," I responded, more loudly this time. "I will not consent." Her face was ireful. "You're being selfish," she said. "I am human," I responded. She edged closer. "If you don't, you walk out of here with zilch." I swallowed a mouthful. "I haven't got any more," I said. She looked surprised for a moment. Then she smiled once more, a scary, chilly smile. Later that day, my father walked into my room. "Why do you make it so hard?" he asked. "Because this is my life," I told him. He gave a sigh. "You're not understanding. We got money problems." I looked up at him. "So you are selling me?" I asked back. His look changed. "Don't say that. It sounds like that." He took a seat. "This guy is going to help us," he continued. "He will look after the family. And what about me? You will live comfortably with one I do not love?" The word dropped heavily. "Love." He didn't answer. Silence, always. I glanced at him, my tears running down my face. "I just wanted you to save me," I said. He turned his head, and in that moment, I realized something really awful. He picked her. He picked up money. He didn't pick me. That night, I cried myself to sleep, but I felt something changing within me. The terror was still there. The discomfort was still there. But now there was a small voice too, a soft voice. It read, "This is not the end." And for the first time, I began to think, maybe I don't have to do this. Well, maybe I can resist. Chapter 5. My engagement day arrived sooner than I planned. I didn't sleep last night. I sat on my bed with my mother's photograph in my hands, looking at her face. "Please," I whispered, "help me." Nobody in the room said anything. Joan arrived in the morning with a big smile. "Today is your big day," she remarked. It wasn't my day. It was like the end of my life. She laid out a dress on the bed. It was good. Soft stuff, light in color, little flowers. But when I tried to touch it, my hands were cold. "I'm not wearing this," I said. Her smile dropped. "You will," she said. "No," I repeated. She moved closer and looked right into my eyes. "Do you think you can stop this?" "Yes," I murmured, though my heart was quaking. "I do not." Then a few minutes later, my father entered the room. "Get ready," he urged. I told her no already. "You don't grasp the problem." "I know enough," I said. "You're making me." "You don't have to," he said. I got up. "So I can say no, right?" He said nothing. That quiet. Again. That was always his answer. Then Da Jones strolled back in with two women I didn't know. "Get her ready," she said to them. My heart began to beat faster. "What's this?" I said. There was no reply. The women came near me. "Please," whispered one of them softly. "Don't make trouble." I took a step back. "Don't bother me." But they had my arms. "Let go," I screamed. I fought, but they were stronger. Tears streamed down my face. "Baba," I screamed. "Please." I glanced at my father. He was standing by the entrance, watching, not moving, not helping. That was when everything fell apart. They dressed me like a doll. I combed my hair, put some makeup on my face. When they were done, Dajon looked at me and grinned. "Fine." I looked at myself in the mirror. I didn't know myself. The girl in the mirror appeared mute, nothing, like she'd already given up. "Let's go," said Dajon. "I'm not going," I whispered. "You can't do anything." And then she turned to my father. "Tell her," I thought maybe, for just a moment, he might save me. But he said, "Don't call me your father anymore if you don't go." I felt depressed. I looked at him. The man I could trust. The man who I loved. The man who was to be my protector. He picked them over me. "I am your daughter," I said, my voice shaking. "Then behave like it," he said. Those words shattered me because I realized a harsh fact. To him, being a good daughter meant being quiet, submissive, to lay down my life for them. I felt numb all through me. "Okay," I said softly. "I'll go." Dajon smiled once more. But she didn't get it, because in that instant, something shifted inside me forever. They brought me to the engagement. There were a lot of people. Music, food, grins. Everyone seemed happy but me. The man sat next to me and leaned in closer. He whispered, "Don't worry, you'll get used to this." I turned my head aside, and the ceremony started. People clapped and spoke of the future. Then somebody brought the rings. My hand started to shake again. The man held my hand. I looked at my father one more time. Hope, silence, begging. But he didn't even glance at me. He was happy and talking to somebody as if nothing had happened. That was the ultimate treachery. Not the yelling, not the control, but I knew he acted like my grief didn't matter. Something inside me broke utterly. The man grasped my hand more tightly. "Be still," he whispered, and at that moment, I stopped crying. The shaking stopped. I stopped feeling terrified, because then the pain was different, something more powerful. I drew my hand back slowly. Silence fell in the room. I had all eyes on me. I got up. "I can't do this," I said. I had a good voice this time. Got it. For the first time in a long time, I felt like me again. Silence in the room. No music. Silent. Only eyes looking at me. "I can't do this," I said again, calm. The man rose up angrily. "Wha you doin'?" "I'm choosing my life," I said. Dajon came rushing at me. She hissed through her teeth. "Sit down. Don't make us look bad." I shook my head. "I'm not yours to possess." Gasps went up through the room. People began to whisper, "She's crazy. This is disgusting." But I didn't care anymore. For the first time, I didn't particularly care what they thought. My dad approached me. Wrong, he said. No, I replied. I was wrong earlier. Now I'm fixing that? He just looked stunned. I have done so much for you. Everything? I interrupted. You mean making me? Selling my future? Don't say things like that, he yelled. But I didn't quit. You didn't hear me. You didn't save me. For a minute, I saw something in his eyes. Guilt. But it was too late. The man moved forward angrily. You did agree to this marriage. I didn't agree. You came here. I was made to. The place was getting noisy. Some people seemed uncomfortable. Others appeared insane. The Joan took my arm again. You will sit down. Right now. I jerked my arm back. Don't you touch me. She stared at me, like she didn't know me no more. Maybe she didn't, because I was not that girl anymore. Not the timid one, not the frightened girl. The girl was gone. I'm out, I proclaimed. No, you are not, my father said. Yes, I am. If you go out that door, he added softly, don't ever come back. The words hit deep to my heart. That was the last resort. Remain and be lost, or lose all the other things. I glanced around the room. Foes, smiles that aren't genuine, happiness without a goal. Then I looked at my dad, the man who liked quiet more than I did. Then I looked at Joan, the woman who sought to run my life. And finally, I looked at myself. I breathed deeply. I will go, I answered softly, but powerfully. I turned about and started to walk. Each step seemed ponderous, but free too. I heard shouts behind me. Heather, no, you'll be sorry for this. Come back. But I kept going. I didn't turn back. Not a single time. I left that house, out of that life, out of that hurt, and into the void below. The air outside was different, new, cold, genuine. I paused there a moment. My hands were bare. No cash, no house, no family. But for the first time in my life, I had anything of importance. I had me. I began to go down the street. I didn't know where to turn, but I kept walking, since I couldn't stay there anymore. After a bit, I came to a little bus stop. I sat down and clutched my bag. Tears began to fall again. This time, though, they were different. Not only pain, a sigh of relief. I accomplished it, I whispered to myself. I really did it. A woman seated beside me looked pleasantly at me. You're okay? She said. I nodded slowly. I will be, I replied, and I did. That was the day I left it all behind. But I didn't lose. I won. I picked me. The road ahead was not an easy one. I worked odd jobs. I fought. I was lonely many evenings. But I continued, step by step, day after day. I went back to college. I studied super hard. I rebuilt my life, gradually but surely. Years later, I was again standing in front of a mirror, but this time, I knew who was looking back at me. She looked worn out, but proud, powerful, free. Sometimes, I still think about my father and Dajon. I don't loathe them, but I do not forget. Their acts taught me a crucial lesson. Nobody has the authority to run your life. Nobody has the right to stifle your voice. And silence can hurt worse than words. If I had stayed that day, I would have lost everything. But I didn't. I decided to leave. And that was the decision that rescued me. So if you ever find yourself stuck, if you ever find yourself with no choice, remember this. The choice is always yours. Even when it's hard, even if it hurts you, you choose. Because your life is your own.
Hi, it's me again, and I have some comments about this story too. This story is so emotional and also painful. It delivers a very meaningful message that we should always cherish our value and move forward. And I feel so sympathy for the character for go through all of the difficulties. And I also very admired her because no matter how harsh the situation is, she always find a way to get through it. So what do you think? Share with me in the comment section and see you in the next video.